Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Is It Fun Gaming? I am your host, Byron Scott. I'm going to try to just get this done quickly. I have been shooting video after video. I realized that I love gaming and I can talk about it for almost way too long, so I don't want to take up your time. Actually, I want to get back to playing my PlayStation, but I wanted to get this out. I wanted to comment on some recent happenings with one of my most anticipated games of 2020, CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077. There's been a recent article or two, maybe even three at this point. I know that there is one that I read from Rock Paper Shotgun that is commenting on what could be considered stereotypes and of certain groups, primarily a Haitian group in the gang, and the inclusion of a transgender individual in one of their ads. I want to touch on this real quick because if I go through my whole thought process, this will be a 20-30 minute video, and I know that people got places to go, people to see, things to do, games to play, and you don't need to hear somebody with 3 subscribers talking forever. If you are checking this out, I do want to say thank you. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends, pass it on. I love gaming. I love connecting with people. I'm hoping that this can take off into a different place. But on this Talk About It Thursday, we are going to get into some of those, and I'm going to try to do it as briefly as possible. But the fact is that CD Projekt Red is a gaming company that I am going to stick with regardless. They have produced one of the greatest games in recent memory. It's arguably one of the greatest games of all time. You could definitely say greatest RPG of all time. And that was The Witcher 3. Based on The Witcher 3, I said I am a fan of CD Projekt Red. I can't wait until their next game. Granted, it was Gwent, the card game. I still bought a couple of packs of that. I played a little bit, but I wanted that next AAA experience, but I wanted to support them and send them some money because I really just love CD Projekt Red's game. I love Witcher 3, and I wanted to support them because of how much joy and how much fun I had playing as Geralt. And that was my first entry into their world. So last week, they won E3 and apparently lost E3 at the same time. Because I am breathtaking and Keanu told all of us that we are, CD Projekt Red got a lot of good, great feeling because of their game. But then they showed the trailer, and apparently there is some issues with the trailer based on a transgender individual being in one of the ads. Before we talk about that and before we get that, I want to be transparent. If y'all watch any of my 3 videos, if you watch my opening video, that's something that's important to me. I think that you need to know where someone's coming from as best as possible before they just give you their opinion. And part of my transparency on this one is I don't know any transgender individuals on a personal note. I don't have anyone that I could say identifies as transgender. I don't have anyone that can say, that I know personally. I know Laverne Cox from Orange is the New Black, and I know Caitlyn Jenner from the Kardashian clan. I don't know them personally, and I'm not even saying that I look at, a lot of their work or what they do and this, that, and the third. But I do know that inclusion is better than exclusion. And CD Projekt Red, which is a Polish company, a Polish video game company that is developing a game based on Mike Pondersmith's tabletop Cyberpunk 2077, who is a African American man, and they are including a Polish company recreating a game by an African American man, including transgender individuals, and from what I understand, you can play as a transgender if that's what you want to do. That's inclusionary. That's inclusion in a way that I can't think of for a group of individuals that has historically been underrepresented. And one of the ways that you change stereotypes, one of the ways that you change minds, one of the ways that you change the perception of any group of individuals, white, black, green, well, there's no green people, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Pacific Islander, Aboriginal, Russian, any person or a group, you change the stereotypes, or you change the thought process by inclusion. And so to have an outrage at the way that a advertisement is presented in a game that is including historically underrepresented individuals, it sort of makes no sense. To me, it sort of makes no sense. There may be a person, and I reserve the right to be educated on my ignorance. If I am in the wrong, I'll be the first person to say, my bad, I didn't know that, I didn't get it, I didn't understand it from that perspective. But I am speaking from the perspective of someone who may have, who may not have enough knowledge about that group of people, and the fact that they're being included in my most favorite of mediums, which is gaming, in a game that I am going to play, it has already made me look at things. Well, you know what? Hey, cool. Put them in there. Put them in there. And if we can't look at it like that, if you don't look at it like they are being included in what is probably going to be one of the most purchased best-selling games of 2020, I'm a little confused by that. I almost feel like you're doing a disservice to the inclusion, because as soon as you talk about it, there's going to be a group of closed-minded gamers who are not going to play this game simply because they have been included in the world of Night City in Cyberpunk 2077. So I just I don't know anyone. Like, believe me, look at my subscribers. Look at how many views I have. I don't know anyone at CD Projekt Red. I don't have any kind of sponsorship with those guys. I don't know Mike Pondersmith, as much as y'all might be like, oh, you know, he probably knows them. They black. They infinite. No. But I'm excited about the fact, not for any other reason than there's an inclusive part of this game. I know I can talk real long. I don't want to be too extra. Maybe I'll revisit this on a part in a different part 2 or something like that. I will say this: I'm not so naive as to think that historically groups in power have used certain words like vermin, rat, animal, beast, etc., to allow for doing very inhumane things to certain other humans. And so that is not something that I'm going to act like hasn't happened or that it doesn't happen. But it does seem to me, in the world of Night City, there are groups, and of course I haven't seen all of the gameplay. I'm reserving the right for the 100% completed part. But in many ways, just the fact that there is a Haitian group, and they're not, the fact that they're just Haitian. A lot of times in a lot of video games, black people aren't even given any kind of title. They're just enemy, or they are a NPC. They're just there. There's not even a African American type thing. I'm not going to exclude, and I reserve the right to change my mind. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If CD Projekt Red lets me down, I'll be the first to say, man, I got that completely wrong. I think it comes out in April. If in April it comes out and I'm wrong, I will revisit it and say, man, I was completely off. But at this point in time, it needs to be, I think that the fact that there is inclusion in this game needs to be rewarded or accepted, and I don't believe that controversy needs to be manufactured. I think you're doing a disservice to the developers. I think you're doing a disservice to the fact that they have said we have asked individuals from these groups of people that we are going to represent. We've brought in certain individuals and we've tried to get research. We've asked them questions. And so I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt until all of us can see the finished product. And the fact that there is inclusion, that means something, that transgender people are even in the world of Night City, and they're so accepted that they're on advertisements selling products, even if, and it is a fictionalized world, but in the reality of this world, it's not that accepted to be transgender. It's not. And being included, I think, is something that we can wait for the controversy. If they're in the wrong, we can do it. But right now, let's just celebrate the inclusion of individuals that may not be, and I'm sticking with that word, inclusion. It's a big word. It's a great word, and it means something. Having groups of people represented in media, whether that's gaming, TV, whether it's on money, whether it's on, if you have representations in the real world, it really can change the perception of those underrepresented groups. So I'm going to leave it at that. Before I go, like I said, if you are feeling down, if you are in a bad place, if you're having a hard day, if you don't know where to turn or who to talk to, if you don't have anyone, call 1-800-273-8255. When I was looking up some of the stuff about the transgender, there was a lot of stuff about suicide. I know that suicide rates are on the rise among young people. We need you here, and even if you don't know who to talk to, call that number and get some help, or talk to someone and just see if you can't find someone to reach out to help you get through whatever hard time you're going through. Leave something down in the comments. Believe me, I'm going to read it. I'm going to try to get back and try to get better at this process. But thank you. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Peace and blessings to wherever you are and wherever you're at.